I'm gonna show you my practice session for no major glitches, which is nearly identical to no pause storage, so yeah, just get into it. I did already do this before, but I got embarrassed by the fact that Dennis 2 took 5 quintillion years to get the token frame 3 times in a row, and for some reason in that particular session, I just absolutely could not do SCDA, so yeah. I start in Now That We're Men Area 2, because, well, I don't practice Quick Chris here because of the practice mod, but I want to practice Monster Skip. And it allows me to practice Bash Gang.
Is the room spinning or is it just me? Ow!
But yeah, I don't... Wait, hold on. Yeah, and then I'm gonna practice this just because it's different from no pause storage, so I want the muscle memory. Okay. And then I'll do Bungee now so that Bungee ball storage shenanigans don't cause any issues. That might have been for too long. No, it was fine. I mean, well, I could have done it a little shorter. But manlies are like such a non-issue in this category that even if you miss the 200, it's really not an issue. And then not everything I do is in like a super exact order, like particularly with the practice mod. But generally, I do have like a general structure that I go through. I like to practice the easiest stuff first, however, like, I'm on disc right now, so practicing, like, lag stuff, or just anything where shit changes because you're on disc. So, for example, I want to practice, GCC. No, that's the battle trick, GGC. I want to practice GGC. And the best way of doing that is because I need to do plank sponge ball anyways to, you know, exit planks, and I need the, I need to be on disc. So at that point, it just makes sense to do plank sponge ball. So normally, I would load a save file that's in plank area 2 to practice the wall jumps, which I might do later anyway, I'm not sure, to practice those, and, that's not good. And, Sponge Glide, but here, because I just need GGC, like, I just need to get to GGC. But I might still practice the wall jumps, I'm not sure. Especially because they've changed again. Dude. See, that's the thing, because no matter what, something is always going to go wrong in the practice session. Like, even if it's an above-average practice session, something is going to go wrong. And, the no pause storage one really was exceptional when I tried to do this, before, because, this might not be a video. Because, like, SCDA was really just beyond comprehension of, like, how could it even be this bad? This is beginning to approach that kind of... there we go. I forced myself to get this 3 times in a row, and then on the 3rd successful attempt, I finish out Spongeball, and then do GGC. But yeah, I thought this video would be good, not only because I'm running out of ideas, but also just to show, like, but yeah, this is the kind of practice that I do, because a lot of people, they just practice, like, 0 to 2 things, and then they do runs, but it's like, I understand that some people just don't really have time, but, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like you can find the time to even do, like, a 15-minute practice session, you know what I mean? I forgot if I've done this once in a row or twice in a row. I think it's once in a row. Yeah, I think so. Usually my practice sessions take, like, 50 to 60 minutes, but if I'm in the middle of, like, practicing something new, it can take longer, and obviously the more strats that get added that aren't just, like, easy, then that just, like, you know. Okay, there we go. Like, that TNT Cirque strat. Like, obviously I wasn't practicing that before, but now I am. And I forced myself to get that, like, 3 times in a row. The only issue I just remembered, I prefer practicing that on disc. Like, a lot. So, that kind of fucks things. I mean, I could just go to it, like, now, but that changes, like, how I approach the practice session, because I liked doing Now That We're Men and then SCDA. But, like, I like doing SCDA Area 2 immediately after Area 1, so that, you know, it just kind of fucks everything. I might just go to SCDA after this. Well, after Neptune. After this, I was planning on going to Neptune. And then obviously, because we don't need ball storage, you can ball into the thing. Because you still want to spawn the buttons here, but I would actually have upgraded guitar here, so... In no pause storage, you wouldn't. It ate my B input for some reason. And then GGC has changed a little bit. It's better to go this way now. It's better to go this way because of the bash boost strat that you do afterwards. Like, on the left side, it just kind of fucking sucks. On the right side, it's good. And it's the exact same speed to do it, to do GGC, like, either side is the exact same speed. So there's no reason not to just, you know... Like, we always clipped on the left side just because, you know, it was just, like, a thing that we always did. And then I don't need to practice Monumental Bash because, practice mod. Actually, I can just do Neptune later if I'm using hard drive. So yeah, normally I don't do this, but I want to go to SCDA now. So SCDA I pretty much practice in its entirety, but not, like, in one go because, you know, I like to do Floating Block and Sponge Ball a bit later, but also because of the practice mod, I can practice, like, the Area 2 movement. Which I can just do that, like, now if I wanted to, but it's just technically more efficient to do it later. But yeah, I like practicing this 3 times in a row, but I might not. Let's see how I feel. Because I haven't practiced this in a week. So, yeah, fuck it, I'll just do it 3 times in a row. So, I alternate between buffering and not buffering there, and it depends on how far off the edge I am. Sometimes you're like, because normally you want slide properties, but if you go even further off the edge, you'll only be able to get a 1 frame. But then that just, like, makes it so easy to make it across, and it still saves time compared to Circulate. However, if you're, like, a little further away from the edge, but still kind of close, and it's, like, obvious that you got the slide frames, like, good slide frames and good distance and everything, then you can just avoid the buffer entirely, because you'll still get the, you'll still get the distance and everything to make it across, like... So yeah, my gold doesn't have the buffer, even though I normally go for the buffer, because you're in a position where you could just not do the buffer. There we go.
It's kind of hypnotic.
And then normally, you wouldn't even need to practice this, but, like, I need to do this because of my fucked NMG route. It would be cool to, like, practice BBBH backwards, but there's no point anymore. I mean, I would usually just practice the beginning of it anyway, but yeah. Because practicing Electric Bash is way too inconvenient, unfortunately, even though I like to practice Electric Bash. And here, the reason why I like having Area 2 from the Area 1 exit is because of where it positions me for this. Because otherwise I would be placed much closer to 3 meter, and it makes it hard to, like, practice that movement. Because I do it really fast. Normally I would have already done BBBH jumps by now, but yeah. And then, of course, if I were to fuck up the jumps, then I would just, I think I can... Yeah, I'll go to the, to hard drive now. Anyway, I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, I would normally do BBBH first, but shit's fucked now. So I guess I'll just do the wall jumps real quick, because I forgot there's also a plank slight wall jump time save. There was already another one, but then I think on, like, fucking Monday or something, like, after the stream, it was realized you could save, like, even more time, like half a second or something. And I didn't do it properly, apparently, because you're not supposed to be here at the end of the wall jumps, you're supposed to be to the right. It doesn't really save time if you're doing sponge glide, but in categories like this, it can save time. Although even then, for sponge glide, you probably still want to do it because it gives you better height. See, that's why I wasn't really feeling these new wall jumps. Because your shit needs to be, like, clean. Like, I mean, I played it a bit safer now, but then I'm losing time. And I almost got hit by the spike, so I'm not actually sure how worth it. I know I just said for sponge glide, but I don't know. Okay. Unfortunately, there's just a lot of areas in this game where it's just inconvenient to try and practice something again. That's the issue. And normally I would have already practiced Neptune by now if I were in no pause storage, so... I guess just to show in the average practice session, I would... just do it now. Oh my god, okay. Dude, I detonated like one fucking pixel too early. There is a new time save here, but it's very, very small. Depending on how I'm feeling on the day and if I need to rush anything or whatever, I usually only practice phase 1, because it just is the hardest phase. But, especially for, like, the sake of the video, I probably will just do phase 1. So that's the time save, like, you can stand a little further away from Krabs, like, you don't have to, like, be literally right in front of him like we were. I don't know what's going on today. Like, am I playing worse because I'm recording? Like, I don't know. But, like, getting hit in Neptune is a bit rare for me. And even then, I fucked up the very first hit. Like, I got to Krabs a little slow, but I just didn't say anything. That was much better. So the visual cue is standing, like, you know, like the spotlight that's on Krabs, like, you want to stand, like, right at the end of it, basically. If you go any further, then there's a very serious risk of him not being able to shoot Krabs. It's very small time save. You can do on phase 3, actually. I guess you could see it as a tiny bit risky, but, like, it's not really risky. Like, fucking hell, that was close. Speaking of risky. I don't know how much this saves. I bet it's, like, very little, honestly. I think we will move on to Depression now. I think the rest of this practice session will look pretty, like, you know... It'll resemble what I normally do. Like, more closely. So I forced myself to get this 3 times in a row. And I will say, by the way, if this trick would work, I will say, by the way, that, sometimes you just don't want to, like... There is such a thing as practicing too much. I very much believe that there is such a thing as practicing too much. Especially when you're learning a trick, like, there are times where it just, like, absolutely does not work.
Wake up now.
Like, you've taken a huge consistency hit because you practice something too much. And then, like, you literally just go to bed, wake up,
Up we go.
and then it just works again.
Ouch.
Like, when I do my practice logs, I usually, like, usually not the day of, to be fair, but, like, afterwards, I'll usually only do, it depends on how long it takes to set up and execute, but
No swimming just after eating.
I like to do tricks 100 times. That's usually what I do. But if it takes a fucking eternity, then I usually allow 50. You gotta think about, like, fatigue and shit.
Ouch.
I don't know why, dude. All the shit in depression is, like, just inconsistent for, like, no reason. And, like, everything, like, fucking up, like, anything in depression loses, like, a minimum of, like, 2 seconds, which is hard to stomach. And then 3K, this stuff I can practice later, so for now, I just do, end level, float and block, and sponge ball. You need to make sure, like, you're careful, like, when entering float and block, because otherwise you could be put in a position where you don't get the cartwheel boost at the beginning, so, like, doing a from sponge ball would be not... dude. It would be not ideal. I did that because I was talking about SpongeBall. That can be fine. I would just need to, like, I don't know. I try to be efficient with practice, but obviously it doesn't actually matter if you waste a hard drive load when practicing. But, like, you do, I don't know, like, a good tip with, like, practicing is that you kind of, unless it is not worth it, like, efficiency-wise, you generally want things to feel like how they would in a run. Because everything is automatically more difficult in a run when the timer's going and you're talking to the chat and everything. And if you fuck the thing up once, then the run's instantly dead. You're almost, like, recreating that pressure. I could have taken this time to practice bounceless if I had to waste a load anyway, but oh well. This isn't the practice mod, I just like doing it now with the music, because the practice mod doesn't have music. But, like, what I do for the floating blocks is that if I fuck them up, well, not now that we're men, obviously, but if I fuck them up, then I usually, like, force myself to do them until I get them. SCDA is a much bigger issue, though. If I fuck that up, I sometimes, like, enough, then I sometimes force myself to get it 3 times in a row, because that's what I did in the scrapped no pause storage practice session video. I fucked it up, like, twice, so I was like, nah, I'm forcing myself to get this 3 times in a row. In practice, you're probably gonna play, like, a little more aggressive than you would in runs, I guess. Like, here I could be a little more risky with, like, these car wheels. Because even if I ledge grab, it's not the end of the world, but I still try to do that within reason, because I don't want to build, like, a bad habit, like bad muscle memory. Alright, that was very nice. Well, the slide jumps are looking great today, so that's a good sign. Hopefully. I'll still never get over that one time. I can never forget it, dude. That one time where, I absolutely could not do BBBH jumps, I just kept fucking them up, like, again and again and again and again and again and again. And I think before that, I feel like I did 3 meter and I fucked it up. So what I did is that I warped to Gesk, and I just instantly got literally perfect fucking jumps. I was so pissed off, because, like, I don't know how to explain it, other than, like, I literally, like, knew that that was going to happen. Like, there was literally, like, zero doubt in my mind. I was like, because it'd be the most typical thing of all time, I know I'm gonna warp to Gesk, and I know I'm gonna get absolutely perfect jumps first try. And that is exactly what, like, I had so much confidence that that was 100% going to happen. And it 100% did happen, so yeah.
Wrote this stuff down.
But yeah, I like to go down the menu. Like, I go down it like 2 or 3 times. Twice, I think. Wait, no, do I? The thing is that my practice sessions used to be, like, different. But, like, I don't know, every time I come back, I just kind of, like... I do it based off memory, and the memory's bound to be a little incorrect, and then there's some new strats, so it's like, well, I'd rather do this earlier now than I used to, you know, that kind of thing.
Almost there. I don't think he likes that. Keep doing it.
Nice. And then for Rock Slide... Is this the... Okay, I couldn't remember if this save file was on the time challenge or not, because I've been doing ball storage stuff lately. And I was testing something with Rock Slide, like, temporarily. But yeah, here's, Now That We're Men Area 1, but I don't practice Spear Boost, because, again, practice mod. Dude, I can hear the lawnmower outside, and I can hear my dog barking at the lawnmower. It's a little hard to focus on the game. But yeah, some people may think that some of this stuff in practice is, like, too... Or some things are unnecessary to practice, but it's literally, like... Like, because obviously, like, you will eventually get those days where, like... You don't even make it to, or at least, like, past Now That We're Men. Like, that is quite realistic, if anything. We just don't even get a run past Now That We're Men that's, like, even decent. And then you could say, like, well, what was the point in practicing anything from SCDA onwards? But it's literally like, well, it's still good for the next time you play. Because, like, imagine you don't practice. Imagine you don't practice, SCDA. Okay, that was just bullshit. That was because of the cycle from when I loaded into the level, because it's different from regular, like, that wouldn't have happened normally. So there's nothing really to see there. I've already done SCDA. Well, I want to do Floating Block, but I'm in mid-air, so I'm not going to get the Cartwheel boost, so I gotta do Sponge Ball. What was I saying? I think, like... I know, again, it's good to, like, do stuff that you do in a run setting. Obviously, if something's, like, the first, like, third of 3K, then, okay, that's a bit different. Although, I did used to practice that. Oh, I remember what I was saying. So, like, imagine if, like, you just didn't practice anything from SCDA onwards, and then you didn't get to SCDA onwards, so it's like, okay, well, I didn't waste my time. But then, like, I don't know, maybe you plan to do runs the next day or practice or something, but then you couldn't or you just didn't want to, and then you don't play the game for, like, 4 days. But then it's like, okay, well, I don't really have time for practice, so I gotta just, like, shit out a couple runs, like, now. Because I only have, like, 20 minutes of leniency or something to get a run going. And it's like, well, you didn't practice SCDA onwards the last time you played the game, and it's been, like, 4 days since then. So now you're rusty, you know? I guess I'll just practice this now. I don't normally, but I need to burn the load anyway. But, like, this whole thing's on a cycle, so I like to practice it. That was a little bad, but as long as I make the cycle, it doesn't matter. That was also bad. And then just muscle memory for Row. Dude, I knew that wasn't gonna work. Now I have to come back here later. This is giving me fucking PTSD from the last time I tried to record this. And I just had to keep doing SCDA Area 2, like, over and over and over and over again. Oh my god, okay. Yeah, I need to practice that later, that's not negotiable. This fucking token has been giving me the business lately because there are like 3 times where you can go too fast. And if you go too slow, then you're also punished. But like, there isn't like that much leniency for going too fast versus going too slow. Like, you can't, it's hard to like predict ahead of time and like purposely slow down or play more risky or whatever. Like, you can't really like tell. Well, especially for play more risky, like, you're not gonna be able to tell, but for slowing down, like, there's some indications, but not great. And then you don't have, like, that's what I try to do, but you have very little leniency for that. To, like, go fast enough to not go, but, like, to go fast for the previous cycle without going too fast, previous part of the cycle, but then still go fast enough to get that jump, because it saves, like, a second. But it's hard. And then, yeah, Denise. And then, okay, I just want to make sure that actually worked. I was about to say, I don't want to be forced into Sunday driving, but obviously, like, I needed to make sure that actually worked. I did that because it's normally 3 scrolls, 3 scrolls from Dennis 1 to Dennis 2, but because I was in Sunday, I wasn't thinking properly. It does take a little bit to, like, actually set up a practice mod. The one tip that you can use, if you're on Xbox, if you accidentally collect a token, you can literally just turn off the console. Like, it says not to, but, like, you literally just can. I forgot that I do lag clips here. Okay, I have to go back to disk. Then what do I practice, like, now? I think I've done everything, haven't I? Like, for now. I think I've done everything except for Fast Corkscrew. I think that's the only thing. So, yeah, I don't know how useful this video is actually gonna be to anybody, especially because I'm fucking up the thing. But, like, I remember before, like, I think Oosta was asking me for my, like, practice, what I do in practice, and I think I listed everything, and he was like, damn. And then he started, like, being more intense with his practice sessions. Because, like, obviously, like, at the end of the, well, I was about to say nobody likes practicing. Some people think it's fun because of how low stakes it can be, but I really don't like practice. Like, obviously my practice to run ratio is a little, like, it kind of depends on the situation. I usually don't miss that. It depends on the situation because, like, obviously, like, dude, my fucking dog. Obviously it depends because my, like, I can't even remember what I was saying. About something depends because of what, but I don't remember. Something about the... Oh yeah, the practice to run ratio. Generally, I'd say my practice to run ratio is like 1 to 5. Or would you list it as 5 to 1? I'm not sure. But like, yeah, probably... Because I'm streaming for like 5 for like 5 hours a week. Yeah, like 5 hours a week, I would say that, this dog is the most distracting thing in the entire world right now, bro. It's not even the lawnmower, it's the dog. I just can't think. I genuinely just cannot think. I don't even know what I said 10 seconds ago. I had the practice to run ratio. I don't know what a good practice to run ratio is. It's gonna depend on you as a player, how much time you have, like... Some people had, like, crazy practice to run ratios, like Foggy did probably more practice than runs, or at least, like, a similar amount. Also, you might have noticed that some things I only practice once, and some things I practice 3 times in a row. Like, doing something 3 times in a row feels really good. It feels very, like, normal. Like, you're not overdoing it, but you're still, like, forcing consistency. The thing is, right, there's not... It just depends on what... Okay, that was actually just unfair. Like, that was unironically just unfair. I want to focus now to make sure I actually get this. Because this might not be able to do it. That was really shaky movement at the end. I was, like, readjusting my thumb on the stick. Some things are just too easy to bother doing 3 times in a row, you know what I mean? Especially because, like, again, trying to prioritize efficiency and not burning yourself out by practicing too much. Alright, so now we need to go back to disc again. Again, like, shit's just fucked because I'm not used to doing this. And then this takes forever. I'm literally skipping these as soon as possible as well, and it still takes an eternity. Luckily in NMG, I don't need to think about, ball storage, like, literally at all. Don't even need to think about it, but I still obviously need to, like... I still need to soft reset just as often. That's a good sign. Though if I do fucking easy thing up, I'll usually force myself to get it 3 times in a row. But if something's being like a super duper ultra asshole that day, like it's just being like really, really bad, then sometimes I will allow myself to get it 3 times within 4 attempts, but those are more like desperation moves, like... There have been times where I fuck something up like so bad, where I literally just don't do runs for the day, like, because, as you probably know, you know, I used to stream 5 days a week, but, like, the 2 days off I would have were usually, like, they were just completely up to me. But sometimes if the practice session was, like, fucking terrible, I would literally just not stream that day. But, like, the number of times I've had terrible practice sessions and then I get world record, like, hell, like, you know that fucking disaster practice session video I was talking about? You know, I scrapped it and everything because of how bad it went. Like, the same day, I got 1 flat 26. I got that shit, like, 2.5 hours or something into the stream. Like, by the time the run finished, it was, like, probably, like, 2.5 hours into the stream. Like, what does that tell you, you know? It just goes to show. Sometimes it's actually good to fuck something up in practice, because you've gotten it out of your system, you might not fuck it up in runs. So sometimes the practice session will, again, look terrible, but then it doesn't actually bother you that much. That would have worked, but that loses like 2 seconds or something, so I'm just gonna quickly do that again. That is actually hard to do, that clip. The clip and then having good ceiling swimming afterwards, because you can't go too fast or too slow. This is bringing me back to the horrible hundo days. But yeah, that's what you want to do. Okay, now we go to the practice mod. Chad is working on a practice mod. I think he wants to just, like, I believe it's gonna have pretty much everything from lattes, but then it's just gonna be, like, better. Like, this is gonna have more stuff after, you know, there'll be more options and stuff, so that's kind of interesting. So, again, I don't have, like, a proper, like, definitive way of practicing these. But usually I like to do the Steam Deaths first. They're, like, some of the easiest stuff in the practice mod. Although I don't want to waste a death on that, so... And you could be wondering, like, what's the point in doing everything in a specific order, but it's just because, like, I don't do runs immediately after practice. I feel like that can, you know... Because I want to eat, because otherwise I'd have to eat much earlier. And I want that leniency for, like, when I can go eat. And I feel like, because then if you're including practice, then I'm actually playing for, like, 6 hours in a row or something, and that just, like, that could promote, not promote, because promote implies good. That could, contribute to burnout. Unfortunately. Okay, and then... Like, it just makes sense to, like... do everything in a way where it's, like... the hardest stuff... Well, relative to convenience of practicing and stuff like that, but, like, generally, like, a lot of the hardest stuff, you practice later, so that the muscle memory is still more present for it by the time that you start runs. So I'm doing it to basically counteract the fact that I usually do runs usually at least an hour after I'm done practicing, which a lot of people don't do. They usually practice, and then they're either done for the day entirely, or they just, like, immediately do runs, or they eat for, like, 20 minutes and then do runs. Quick Chris is, sometimes there are days where I just get it immediately, and some days where I just... This was another thing that went bad in that scrapped video. Like, this took a while. And I didn't fuck this up in the 1 flat 26. Recently, I've been trying to get the ledge grab skip, like, more often, but it's unbelievable, like, okay, it's not making it go from, like, easy to impossible or anything like that, but it is making it go from, like, kinda hard to, like, pretty fucking hard for a second and a half of time save. The actual, like, damage boost off the eel is way more risky, and, you don't have time to, like, set up a good camera angle, because you normally would during the ledge grab. See, that specifically only happened because I tried getting more speed. Like, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. That was literally because I tried to get more speed for the ledge grab skip, otherwise I wouldn't have missed that just then. It's just crazy as well, because it makes, like, the Chris skip aspect of this, like, way harder as well. Making it go from literally, like, a 3 out of 10 to, like, a 6 out of 10. Just from, like, having to spin and get more speed. It's crazy. There should probably be a practice thing for monster skip, although I'm not sure exactly how it would work. Because it might not be, like... It might be a little hard to, like... If anything, it should probably have, like, a little bit of a delay. Like, a fade delay, because, like... Like, from death, you want a camera to be panned down, so that as soon as you respawn, like, the camera's already panned down, so you just immediately set it up. This type of video also would have made more sense to do if I was doing, like... Even all tokens, but I was thinking hundo, because then there's just more stuff to practice, but I still wanted to show a no-pause storage practice session, because that's what most people play, and because of the fucked route that I do for NMG, this is close enough. So I need to practice, I need to practice this again because I fucked it up earlier. It was annoying as I think I actually did fuck this up in the 1 flat 26. The cycle. I think I did. Well, I know I got a 155, which is below average, so I must have done something, and I'm pretty sure I didn't fuck up... Actually, maybe I did fuck up 3 meter. Like, I know I got the 2 frame, but maybe I fucked up the jumps, and then just got, like, an average cycle. It was unfortunate is I can basically never beat my gold. Like, it hit the second button, like as soon as it possibly could, essentially. It missed 1 3-meter jump, but other than that, the gold is basically perfect. Oh, and it was before a couple end optimizations that save a total of, like, maybe 20 frames. It's hard to remember. But, like, you should never risk that shit. You just want to, like, wait for the move to move out of the way, because that's still faster than fucking missing it entirely. But then because of that, I get, like, 152s, even on, like, perfect SCDAs. Alright, and now we get to the dreaded fucking token 1 frames. These are really bad. But it's hard to describe why, because if I start talking, I'll fuck these up more. Okay, that's a good start. Okay, I guess I can talk. I like to have Sunday as almost like an intermission between the two, so that, you know, then I'm not in a situation where it's like, oh, I only got both Dennis frames 3 times in a row, like back-to-back, because I already had the muscle memory cemented from Dennis 1 when going to Dennis 2. So this, like, shakes off a bit of that muscle memory, which makes it... Because in a run setting, obviously, you don't do them back-to-back. You do them pretty quickly, like, within a few minutes of each other, but obviously, you know, not immediately back-to-back. Actually, I say a few minutes, it's like... It is actually, like, 10 minutes. Like, a 10-minute difference. Something like that. But yeah, the Dennis frames are really bad. If one of them goes well, the other one is basically guaranteed to be a fucking disaster. Like, it's so frustrating. And in the no pause storage one, which, what do you know, I fucked up Dennis 2. It's usually Dennis 2, and I don't understand why. I've already complained about it in some second channel videos, but, like, Dennis 2... And I've complained about it on stream and probably my Discord server as well, but there is genuinely something up with Dennis 2. Like, there are times where it absolutely will not work, even though it should. If anything, it should be easier, because you have more time to prep before, like, because, like, transitioning from the final hit to skipping the cutscene, you have literally more time to prep for it than Dennis 1. So it literally should just be objectively easier, or at minimum the exact same difficulty, and for some reason it's just fucking harder, which is making me wonder if sometimes, like, Dennis 2 is, like, eating the 1 frame input, or if in Dennis 1 it's sometimes a 2 frame for some reason. Because it's definitely not always a 2 frame if it's sometimes a 2 frame, and because this game fucking sucks, I could definitely see it's being inconsistent, like whether it's a 1 frame or a 2 frame for Dennis 1, but Dennis 2 just consistently, not literally always, but just so often being more of an issue. Why the fuck is this not working? I used to have to do this 7 times almost in a row. And I've been struggling to get it once. Like in runs. In Hundo and all tokens, I would usually just do this 7 times in a row, and if I got it like 5 times within those 7 times, then I'd just be like, yeah, that's fine. Alright, let's do the fucking thing that I hate a lot. Yep. 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 This is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, in Dennis 1, like, this wasn't happening. Like, it just is easier for no reason. Like, I haven't even gone it once. Actually, no, I think... Did I get it one? I don't even know. I've gone it either 0 or 1 time so far. And yeah, a lot of the time I can feel myself pressing A or star the wrong time, but, like, a lot of these, it feels like I'm pressing it at the exact correct time. And this is the ultimate reason why I didn't upload the no pause storage one, because this, unironically, to get it 3 times in a row, it literally took like 50 plus attempts. Although the fact that I can't even get this once right now is making this even worse than last time. Oh my fucking god. Sometimes if I'm desperate, then I just ignore it temporarily and come back to it later, which I'm probably going to do because this is actually annoying me now. Holy fuck. Dude, Jesus Christ. Okay, now fuck this, I'm leaving. For now. Actually, I want the ball boost. I mean, this is fine. Oh, I was supposed to look at fucking... I was having issues with this recently. Latte looked at the triggers and showed me the triggers, but he also said something about... If you don't leave the trigger and re-enter it, it's likely the eye will have the invincibility by the time you get to it with... But yeah, because the hitbox of the eye is controlled by a script that runs when you enter this trigger and it resets when you leave it. Worth noting, it takes half a second being in the trigger for the eye to gain a hitbox, so it's possible that I was literally just doing it too soon. I need to upgrade guitar. Okay, well, I fucked that up. I tried to... Because obviously, ideally, you get 3 guitars. I mean, you do it in 3 guitars. I don't understand why I didn't get a bash boost off of that. I feel like it ain't my input, but I don't know. Yeah, I think I think my issue was that I was doing it too early. There were times where I wasn't in the... I think there were times where I wasn't in... I can't think right now. Where I wasn't in the hitbox. But I think there were also times where, yeah, where I just... Yeah, okay. I might need to mention that in the tutorial, but it takes... Well, because, like, most people do... Because the issue was that I just was doing it too fast, which a lot of people would not do. But, I don't know. Dude. I always... Like, I just don't even read what the buttons do. I just go off instinct, and my instinct is always wrong. I like to do this 3 times in a row, and I already did it once earlier, so... Because obviously if you miss this, then, like, holy dead run, you know? Well, I think you get checkpointed, so not really dead run, but, like, you'll lose a lot. For the times I'm trying to go for, it would usually mean dead run. Because I might go for a 118 and no major glitches, but even if I don't, I want, like probably like a 119.12 or some shit minimum. Like, you know what the good thing is? I made splits, world record pace splits, and it genuinely got to the point where for the last, like, 4 seconds of time save, I genuinely couldn't justify putting it in, like, any split. So it's like, okay, I guess I'll increase this by, like, 0.2, I'll increase this by, like, 0.4, but I was struggling so hard, because there are a lot of segments where it's like, you're basically guaranteed to get, I'm just gonna shit numbers out of my ass, but, like, I don't know, like, you're basically guaranteed to get a 209 whatever, unless, like, a 209 to, like, a 210, unless this happens, but then if that happens, you're guaranteed to lose at least this amount of time, which would mean that then you'd be looking more like 213 to 215, so there's no point in having, like, a 212 split, because why would I ever have a 212? Because if I miss the trick, then I lose more than that, and if I get the trick, I save more than that, like, 99% of the time, so it's just kind of fucky how some stuff works, but, yeah. So it could be hard. It was very hard to, like, make proper pace splits. I think I have to go back to Dennis now, unfortunately. I'm trying not to get tilted. There we go, okay. Do you ever, like, get tilted, and then, you have this mentality of, like, this shit's never gonna work, it's fucking abysmal, you know, etc., etc. And then, I don't know, then it just works, and then you just immediately get hit with, like... What's, like, post-nut clarity, but for, like, not that, but for, like, getting tilted, post-tilt clarity. Where you're just like, okay, yeah, I think I was just being a little overdramatic.
Did Mindy bother to tell us if the train was still running around here?
That might not work. No, that worked. Unfortunately, this shit's fucking AIDS no matter what. Very significant time loss for missing the 1 frames, but... Luckily, I got those 3 times in a row, so I'm feeling good about that. This is even more important than normal, because in this category, I need to do it 3 times, but again, I think there's such a thing as practicing too much. So I'm not going to force myself to get it 5 times in a row, I'm still going to go for 3. In last week's No Major Glitches stream... I don't think I ever reset a macho. It was only the main and time, I think. If I did reset the macho, it was once, because I remember, like, very late in the stream, like, well, I say very late, it's probably like 4 hours into the stream, I was like, oh, I'm surprised I haven't missed this in macho yet. And even when I said that, I still got it, so if I missed it, it was like a max of once. But I don't even think I missed it once. Dude. I'm going too far right. There are days where this is being a dickhead as well. I mean, this is always being a dickhead. Like, think about how many times, like, you've tuned into my stream, and within the first, like, couple minutes, like, you see me miss this, and then I reset and immediately go to the practice mod, like, immediately. That's literally how I roll, bro. If I miss a shit, I almost instantly go to the practice mod. Yeah, this is being below average, but I'm trying not to complain because, Rubidov skip went very well, and some of the things went well. Dennis 2 wasn't as bad as, that one scrapped video. And, even though SCDA was a little smelly, it wasn't, like, that bad. I guess I mean, yeah, I would, like, assuming the no cheese and depression were average, I would continue a run where that happened, even though that lost me, like, over a second. Dude, why do I keep doing that? Okay, I'm trying not to get tilted, but, like, genuinely now. I'm missing this more than normal. And, like, this is one of the most important tricks in a run, especially because I gotta do it 3 times. I will never forget that Hundo stream I did, where I couldn't get past even the time challenge for 2.5 hours. Like, I kept getting runs out of depression, like, pretty consistently. I wasn't, like, stuck in depression hell. Really? But for literally 2.5 hours, I literally could not get past that. I kept resetting so often to this, in the main challenge and the time challenge. This was back when I would do SD-102, during, like, bounceless. I can't really do that anymore, but... yeah. Literally for 2.5 hours, and I unironically, I ended the stream, like, probably, like, an hour early. That shit was, like, it was not great. Alright, so the only things left to practice, I think, guest jumps and spew boost. I'll do spew boost now. I usually do it last because it just kind of sucks, but... especially because I gotta do it twice in No Major Glitches, like, I want to save that one for last. So what I do for Spew Boost is that, again, like, while I try to prioritize, like, the hardest stuff last... like, this practice mod allows you to also do, just Fast Lobster immediately, because, it resets scene. So what I like to do is that after getting this 3 times in a row, I just immediately do Fast Lobster, instead of doing it, like, just on, like, a vanilla-ish movie. I say vanilla-ish because on hard drive, the hard drive movie I have, it removes FMVs, but other than that, it's pretty vanilla, I would say. Okay, well, I meant to get the Papa, but again, the Manleys are just so negligible in this category. They almost... you'd have to miss, like, at least, like, 2 huge stacks, I feel like, to... and even then, it should be fine. Like, it may not... Because in NMG, you need to upgrade earlier. If you do in my route, you need to upgrade earlier. Actually, no, even if you're doing BBBH backwards, you need to upgrade... Well, it depends on... You need 40 tokens for Plank, so you would either do Combat early or SCDA Spongeball early. Those are your two options. And I do SCDA Spongeball early because, it makes combat, like... It makes it faster on average. Like, theoretically, you could do it just as fast, but, like, especially because combat has a good amount of RNG, like, I really prioritize consistency. So I would be able to upgrade Guitar and Neptune, but in reality, I can't. However, I don't even know how much it actually saves, because in NMG, you need to, guitar the button for Plank Spongeball, but I swear to god that shit's slower with unupgraded guitar because it's so far away that you can actually home in. And you skip a guitar for... You skip a guitar for the second, puzzle room button anyway because of ball, so... You're not actually, like, doing that many guitars. Like, with upgraded guitar. You're literally doing, 7? And one of them, I think, is slower with unupgraded guitar anyway. So it's not that many. And you're making combat, like, on average faster, so I do strongly believe that it's worth it. And it saves scrolls as well. Dude. I know I'm talking, but, like, goddamn. I feel like I can't... Sometimes when doing slide jumps, you need, like, a mental reset, so you just, like, even on disc, like, if you fuck up, like, BBBH or 3 meters, sometimes you literally just need the mental reset and to go back to the beginning of the slide. Even in a run setting, if you're, like, early-ish into the slide, but, like, you're missing a billion jumps, like, honestly, it's usually better to just go down the bottom of the slide and try again. You know what I hate about guest jumps is that it's like one of the easiest advanced strats to learn because it's incredibly easy to comprehend. You just press A at the right time a bunch of times, like, it's easy to comprehend. But it is, like, one of the hardest tricks in the game. Like, fast corkscrew took me way longer to learn. Rub-a-dub skip took me way longer to learn. Like, all these other tricks took, like, advanced tricks took me so much longer to learn. And I've been doing guest jumps since before, like, all of them. And I feel like there's like guaranteed inherent inconsistency with guest jumps because like it's an upward slope and your visual cue is abysmal. So I feel like I don't know. And because the frame rate is not like a smooth 60, I'm wondering if like frame time issues is literally making it automatically inconsistent, like naturally inconsistent. I'm not sure. I think I've practiced everything. Again, normally, like, I've been thinking of practicing the faster bungee death, but I don't think it's worth it to make it go from free to pretty hard for 2 seconds at a time, especially when I'm only playing weekly. And I don't think... I don't know. I didn't fuck up anything so much that I want to practice it again right now. But I also want the video to be an hour long, so I guess this is the part where I'll say, like... Actually, no, I'll just stay... Sometimes I like to go AFK with the console on, but I obviously don't want the laser to wear out, so sometimes I'll literally just stay in the practice mod. Hopefully we can get an even better... Because, like, Latte's practice mod is good, but if we can get an even better one with, like, more options, that'd be sick. As for, like, what videos I'm gonna make... Obviously, I need to make BBBH and Plank history videos. I want to end it with Plank because it's the final platforming level, even though it makes more sense to end it with BBBH because nothing's been found in BBBH for so long. Yet we've had so many recent Plank discoveries, I feel like it's just, like, we're not gonna get anymore. But yeah, I don't know. Even though I got slightly tilted in this, I think I'll just show it, and even though I fucked some things up and it's not no pause storage, I think I'll just, you know, depending on what I'm doing, it can take longer or shorter to practice, especially depending on the category, or if I'm, like, learning something new. I very occasionally like to just do a little bit of weenie out of bounds, just so that it's like, oh, if the run's fucking terrible going into weenie, I can just do weenie out of bounds, but I don't know, both pots, like, even then I usually just do, like, a tiny bit of boat bounce, just so it's like, okay, if by some miracle I don't fuck up the first parts, then at least I can more reliably get boat bounce, even though boat bounce itself is also quite bad. But yeah, that's the video. Thank you for watching when you see this on Wednesday or whatever, and goodbye.